the light I followed.
The first time Kane saw Vincent Hart, he was 16 years old. It was a rainy afternoon. He had just returned home from school. His uniform was damp. His shoes were covered in mud. Exhausted, he threw his backpack onto the floor and collapsed onto his bed. Then his phone lit up. A new music video had been uploaded. The title was simple: Eclipse, Falling Sky. Kane clicked on it without much interest. 3 minutes later, his life changed. The screen was filled with bright lights, powerful music, perfect choreography. But none of that caught his attention. Instead, his eyes stopped on one person. A young man with dark hair, soft eyes, a smile that seemed capable of warming even the coldest day. Vincent Hart. The center of Eclipse. The idol everyone was talking about. For the first time in his life, Kane watched a video all the way through without looking away. Then he watched it again. And again. And again. Years passed. Kane grew older. So did his admiration. Unlike many fans, he never dreamed of meeting Vincent. The distance between them felt impossible. Vincent belonged to giant stages, to sold-out arenas, to flashing cameras and millions of fans. Kane belonged to ordinary life. A small apartment, a second-hand camera, and quiet mornings spent editing photographs. Their worlds would never cross. At least, that was what Kane believed. Now, at 24 years old, Kane was working as a freelance photographer. Life was not perfect, but it was stable. He had enough work to pay his bills, enough time to enjoy the things he loved. And every now and then, he still listened to Eclipse's songs while editing photos late at night. Some habits never disappeared. One Saturday afternoon, Kane finished a photo shoot earlier than expected. The weather was pleasant. The city felt unusually calm. Instead of going home, he wandered through several streets until he found a small cafe hidden between two old buildings. The place was quiet. Exactly what he needed. A bell chimed softly as he entered. The scent of coffee filled the air. Only a few customers sat inside. Most were busy with laptops or books. Kane ordered an iced latte and looked around for an empty seat. That was when he noticed him. A man sitting alone by the window. A black cap. A face mask. Dark sunglasses. His appearance should have been impossible to recognize. But Kane knew immediately. Some people become so familiar that even a small gesture gives them away. The way he held his cup. The slight tilt of his head. The shape of his shoulders. Kane's heart skipped a beat. It was Vincent. For a moment, he froze. Thousands of thoughts rushed through his mind. Should he ask for a photo? Should he say hello? Should he pretend not to notice? Vincent looked tired. Not the kind of tiredness hidden behind makeup and stage smiles. Real tiredness. The kind that reached someone's eyes. Kane suddenly remembered an interview from years ago. Vincent had once said, "Sometimes I wish people would let me be Vincent for a day instead of Vincent Hart." The memory made Kane pause. Slowly, he walked toward the empty table beside the idol. As he passed by, Vincent glanced up. Their eyes met for a brief second. Kane smiled politely. Nothing more. Enjoy your coffee. Then he continued walking. No screaming. No photo request. No autograph. No attempt to start a conversation. Just 5 simple words. Vincent stared after him. Surprised. very surprised. Kane sat down on the opposite side of the cafe. His heart was beating so loudly that he could barely hear the music playing overhead. But he never looked toward Vincent again. Not once. An hour later, Kane packed his camera and stood up to leave. When he reached the door, he glanced back. The seat by the window was empty. Vincent had already gone. Kane smiled to himself. A strange feeling settled in his chest. Warm. Comfortable. As if he had just experienced something important. Even though nothing had really happened. Meanwhile, several streets away, Vincent sat inside a black van. His manager was talking about schedules. Interviews. Concert rehearsals. Upcoming promotions. Vincent listened quietly. But his thoughts remained elsewhere. For years, fans had chased after him. Called his name. Asked for photos. Asked for signatures. Asked for attention. Yet today, a stranger had done none of those things. Instead, he had simply wished him a pleasant afternoon. And somehow, that stayed in Vincent's mind. More than the cheers of thousands. More than the endless noise surrounding his life. He didn't know the stranger's name. He would probably never see him again. Still, as the city disappeared behind the van window, Vincent found himself remembering the man's gentle smile. For reasons he could not explain. He hoped they would meet again. 3 weeks passed. Vincent thought he would forget about the stranger from the cafe. After all, his life was busy. Every day was filled with schedules. Interviews. Dance practice. Photo shoots. Meetings that seemed to never end. There was hardly enough time to sleep. Yet somehow, the memory remained. A simple smile. 5 simple words. Enjoy your coffee. It was strange. Vincent had met thousands of people. But he kept remembering the one person who had asked for nothing. One evening, after finishing a television recording, Vincent finally had a free night. A rare gift. His manager suggested resting at home. Instead, Vincent decided to walk around the city alone. Wearing a cap and mask, he blended into the crowd. For the first time in weeks, he felt like a normal person. The autumn air was cool. Streetlights reflected across the sidewalks. People laughed as they passed by. No cameras. No screaming fans. Just ordinary life. As he wandered through a quieter neighborhood, a poster caught his attention. Urban Echoes Photography Exhibition. The event was being held inside a nearby gallery. Vincent hesitated. Then entered. The gallery was peaceful. White walls. Soft music. Photographs lined every corner. Some showed crowded streets. Others captured lonely moments. An elderly couple sharing coffee. A child sleeping on a bus. A young woman staring out a rainy window. They were simple images. Yet each one felt alive. Vincent found himself slowing down. Looking carefully at every photograph. For a while, he forgot who he was. Forgot the pressure. Forgot the expectations. Then he stopped in front of a particular photograph. It showed a city rooftop at sunrise. The sky was painted in shades of gold and pale blue. One person stood alone near the edge. Small against the endless horizon. Yet somehow, they didn't look lonely. They looked free. Vincent stared at the image. Something about it touched him. A small nameplate sat underneath. Photographer, Kane Parker. Vincent blinked. The name meant nothing to him. But the moment he turned around, his breath caught. Standing across the room was a familiar figure. A tall young man. Dark hair. Calm eyes. Holding a camera around his neck. The stranger from the cafe. Kane. For a second, neither of them moved. Then Kane's eyes widened slightly. Recognition. Surprise. And then that same gentle smile appeared. The one Vincent remembered. "What are the chances?" Kane said. Vincent laughed quietly. The sound surprised even himself. Apparently pretty high. Kane stepped closer. Unlike everyone else, he showed no sign of excitement. No nervousness. No desperate attempt to impress him. Just simple friendliness. Vincent found it refreshing. "These are your photographs?" Vincent asked. Kane nodded. "Most of them. They're incredible." A faint blush appeared on Kane's face. "Thank you." For a moment, neither spoke. Then Kane tilted his head. "Would you like a tour?" Vincent raised an eyebrow. "A private tour?" "Only if you're interested." The answer came immediately. "I am." They spent the next hour walking through the gallery together. Kane explained the stories behind each photograph. Where it was taken. What had inspired it. The people he had met. The moments he had witnessed. Vincent listened carefully. He found himself fascinated. Not just by the photographs. By Kane. The way he spoke. The way his eyes lit up when discussing something he loved. The way he noticed details others overlooked. Most people saw celebrities. Kane saw people. That realization stayed with Vincent. Eventually, they reached the final photograph. A black and white image of a crowded subway station. Hundreds of people moving in different directions. Yet one person stood still. Lost in thought. "What does this one mean?" Vincent asked. Kane looked at the photograph for several seconds. Then smiled. "I think everyone is following something." "What do you mean?" "A dream. A goal. Another person." His gaze softened. "Sometimes we spend years chasing a light." Vincent felt something tighten inside his chest. A strange emotion he couldn't name. Perhaps because he understood those words better than anyone. His entire life had been spent following expectations. Following success. Following a version of himself that everyone wanted. But standing beside Kane. For the first time in a long while. He felt no need to follow anything. He simply wanted to stay. When the exhibition finally ended, visitors began leaving. The gallery grew quiet. Kane checked his phone. "It's getting late." Vincent nodded. Neither seemed eager to say goodbye. An awkward silence settled between them. Then Vincent spoke first. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Why didn't you ask for a photo that day?" Kane laughed softly. "So that's been bothering you?" "A little." Kane thought for a moment. Then answered honestly. "You looked exhausted." Vincent froze. "You noticed?" "It was hard not to." Kane smiled. "I figured Vincent Hart gets treated like an idol every day." His voice became gentler. "So I decided to treat you like a person." For several seconds, Vincent couldn't respond. No one had ever said something like that to him before. At least, not sincerely. The world always wanted something from him. His image. His talent. His attention. His perfection. But Kane had simply seen a tired young man drinking coffee alone. And somehow, that felt more meaningful than any compliment Vincent had ever received. Outside the gallery, the night air was cool. They stood near the entrance, neither moving away, neither wanting the conversation to end. Finally, Vincent pulled out his phone. "Would it be strange if I asked for your number?" Kane stared, clearly surprised. Then he laughed. "Maybe a little." Vincent smiled. "Then let's be strange." For the first time that evening, Kane laughed openly. And Vincent realized it was becoming one of his favorite sounds. As they exchanged numbers, neither of them noticed how much their lives had just changed. But somewhere deep inside, both of them felt it. This was not the end of their story. It was only the beginning. The first message arrived at 1:17 a.m. Kane had just finished editing a set of photographs when his phone vibrated. A new notification appeared. Unknown number. For a moment, he stared at the screen. Then he remembered. Vincent. A smile tugged at his lips as he opened the message. "Vincent. Are you awake?" Kane looked at the clock, then laughed softly. "Kane. It's 1 a.m. 3 dots appeared almost immediately. "Vincent. So that's a yes," Kane shook his head. For some reason, he could already imagine Vincent smiling on the other side of the screen. That night, they talked until nearly 3 in the morning. Nothing important. Nothing dramatic. Just small conversations. Favorite movies. Embarrassing childhood stories. Foods they secretly loved. The kind of things people shared when they felt comfortable. And somehow, comfort came surprisingly easily between them. Days turned into weeks. Their messages became a routine. A good morning text. A random photo during the day. A complaint about work. A joke before bed. Slowly, without realizing it, they became part of each other's daily lives. Sometimes Vincent would send pictures from backstage. A half-eaten sandwich. A messy dressing room. A sunset viewed from an airplane window. Things no fan ever got to see. Things that belonged to the real Vincent. Not Vincent Hart. Just Vincent. And Kane treasured every one of them. One evening, Vincent called unexpectedly. Kane answered while organizing photographs. "Hello?" A tired sigh came from the other side. "Kane." Something about Vincent's voice made him stop what he was doing. "Long day?" A short laugh followed. "You have no idea." Kane leaned back in his chair. "What happened?" For several seconds, Vincent said nothing. Then he spoke quietly. "We've been practicing for 12 hours. Kane frowned. 12? Actually 13. That's insane. I know. Vincent laughed again. But this time it sounded exhausted. The kind of laugh people used when they were too tired to complain. Kane suddenly felt a strange ache in his chest. Millions of people envied Vincent's life. The fame. The money. The success. Yet very few saw what existed behind the spotlight. The pressure. The expectations. The endless exhaustion. "Have you eaten?" Kane asked. Silence. That was answer enough. "Kane. You forgot again." "I was busy." "You always say that." Vincent groaned dramatically. "Why do you sound like my mother?" "Because somebody has to keep you alive." For the first time that day, Vincent laughed genuinely. A bright, warm laugh. And Kane found himself smiling too. A few days later, they met in person again. It was nearly midnight. The city was quiet. Most people were asleep. Vincent had finished practice late. Kane had just completed a photography assignment. Neither wanted to go home. So they walked. No destination. No plan. Just two people wandering through empty streets. The air felt cool. Streetlights painted golden patterns across the sidewalk. For a while, neither spoke. The silence felt comfortable. Natural. Then Vincent suddenly stopped walking. Kane. Do you ever regret anything? The question caught him off guard. Kane considered it. Sometimes. What about you? Vincent looked up at the night sky. His expression softened. There are days when I wonder who I would have become. If you weren't an idol? Vincent nodded. Yeah. His voice was quieter now. I started training when I was 14. A small smile appeared. I don't even know what a normal life feels like anymore. Kane listened carefully. Vincent rarely spoke about himself like this. When he did, it meant something. Do you miss it? Kane asked. Vincent thought for a moment, then shook his head. No. His answer surprised Kane. I love performing. A faint smile appeared. I love singing. His eyes reflected the city lights. And I love meeting people who support me. For a brief second, his gaze shifted toward Kane. But sometimes, he hesitated. Sometimes I wish people would stop seeing me as a product. The words hung in the air. Heavy. Honest. Painfully real. Kane understood immediately. For years, millions of people had projected their expectations onto Vincent. The perfect idol. The perfect role model. The perfect celebrity. Few ever asked whether Vincent himself was okay. Kane stepped closer. Not too close. Just enough. Then he spoke softly. You don't have to be perfect around me. Vincent looked at him. The world seemed unusually quiet. Almost as if time had slowed. You know that, right? Something flickered in Vincent's eyes. Something vulnerable. Something Kane had never seen before. For several seconds, neither looked away. Then Vincent smiled. A small smile. But a real one. I know. That night, after they said goodbye, Vincent sat alone inside the company van. The city lights blurred beyond the window. His phone rested in his hand. A notification appeared. A message from Kane. Get some sleep. And eat breakfast tomorrow. Vincent laughed softly. Then typed back. Yes, Mom. The reply came almost instantly. Good boy. Vincent stared at the screen, shaking his head, smiling despite himself. His manager glanced over. You seem happy. Vincent quickly locked his phone. Do I? More than usual. Vincent looked out the window again. His reflection stared back at him. For the first time in months, he realized the manager was right. He was happier, lighter, less alone. And somehow, that feeling always seemed to appear when Kane was around. Meanwhile, back in his apartment, Kane lay awake staring at the ceiling. A smile lingered on his face. He replayed their conversation over and over. The way Vincent trusted him. The way Vincent opened up. The way Vincent looked at him, his chest felt strangely warm, dangerously warm. And for the first time, a thought crossed his mind. A thought he immediately tried to ignore. This was Vincent Hart, one of the biggest idols in the country. And Kane was just a fan. Nothing more. Nothing less. Yet as he closed his eyes, he couldn't stop wondering. When had friendship started feeling like this? Winter arrived quietly. The city streets grew colder. The days became shorter. But somehow, Kane and Vincent grew closer. Almost every day, they exchanged messages. Almost every night, they found an excuse to talk. Sometimes for 10 minutes. Sometimes for hours. Neither of them questioned it anymore. The connection had become natural. Necessary, even. Like breathing. One evening, Kane was editing photographs in his apartment when his phone rang. Vincent. A smile immediately appeared on his face. He answered. Hey. Kane. Vincent sounded excited. Unusually excited. Are you busy tomorrow? A little. Why? I have the afternoon off. Kane nearly laughed. An afternoon off for Vincent was rarer than a solar eclipse. Congratulations. Thank you. I assume you didn't call just to tell me that. I didn't. The smile in Vincent's voice became obvious. Come out with me. Kane blinked. A date? The silence lasted exactly 2 seconds. Then Vincent nearly choked. What? Kane burst out laughing. The sound echoed through the apartment. Vincent groaned dramatically. I hate you. No, you don't. Unfortunately, both of them knew that was true. The next afternoon, they met at a quiet park outside the city center. Vincent wore sunglasses and a cap. Kane carried his camera. For several hours, they simply walked. They bought coffee, fed ducks near a lake, talked about everything and nothing. It felt surprisingly normal. And that was exactly why Vincent loved it. When he was with Kane, he didn't have to perform. He didn't have to smile because cameras were watching. He didn't have to be Vincent Hart. He could simply be Vincent. And that freedom was becoming addictive. As the sun began to set, they sat on a bench overlooking the water. The lake reflected shades of orange and gold. For a while, they enjoyed the silence. Then Kane lifted his camera. Can I take a picture? Vincent raised an eyebrow. Of me? Of the scenery. A pause. Maybe you happen to be in it. Vincent laughed. You're impossible. Still, he stayed where he was. Kane lifted the camera. Focused. Clicked. For a brief moment, Vincent looked directly into the lens. And directly at Kane. Their eyes met. Just for a second. Yet something shifted. Something neither of them could ignore anymore. Kane lowered the camera first. His heart was beating faster than it should. Vincent looked away. Neither spoke. Neither trusted their voice. Unfortunately, someone else had noticed them too. A person standing across the lake. A person holding a camera. A paparazzo. The photographs appeared online the next morning. At first, they spread slowly. Then they exploded. News websites. Fan forums. Social media. Everyone wanted answers. Who was the mysterious man with Vincent? Why were they spending time together? Were they friends? Dating? Something more? The speculation spread like wildfire. By noon, Vincent's agency had already called an emergency meeting. The atmosphere inside the conference room was tense. Several managers sat around the table. Expressions serious. Phones constantly ringing. Vincent sat quietly, already knowing what was coming. One manager finally spoke. "You need to stop seeing him." The words landed like a punch. Vincent remained silent. Another manager continued. "The public is becoming curious. We can't risk rumors. The group's comeback is next month." Every sentence sounded colder than the last. Vincent clenched his hands beneath the table. "He's my friend." The room fell silent. A manager sighed. "You know that's not the issue." Everyone knew it wasn't. A little. "Why?" "I have the afternoon off." Kane nearly laughed. An afternoon off for Vincent was rarer than a solar eclipse. "Congratulations." "Thank you. I assume you didn't call just to tell me that." "I didn't." The smile in Vincent's voice became obvious. "Come out with me." Kane blinked. "A date?" The silence lasted exactly 2 seconds. Then Vincent nearly choked. "What?" Kane burst out laughing. The sound echoed through the apartment. Vincent groaned dramatically. "I hate you." "No, you don't." Unfortunately, both of them knew that was true. The next afternoon, they met at a quiet park outside the city center. Vincent wore sunglasses and a cap. Kane carried his camera. For several hours, they simply walked. They bought coffee, fed ducks near a lake, talked about everything and nothing. It felt surprisingly normal. And that was exactly why Vincent loved it. When he was with Kane, he didn't have to perform. He didn't have to smile because cameras were watching. He didn't have to be Vincent Hart. He could simply be Vincent. And that freedom was becoming addictive. As the sun began to set, they sat on a bench overlooking the water. The lake reflected shades of orange and gold. For a while, they enjoyed the silence. Then Kane lifted his camera. "Can I take a picture?" Vincent raised an eyebrow. "Of me?" "Of the scenery." A pause. "Maybe you happen to be in it." Vincent laughed. "You're impossible." Still, he stayed where he was. Kane lifted the camera. Focused. Clicked. For a brief moment, Vincent looked directly into the lens. And directly at Kane. Their eyes met. Just for a second. Yet something shifted. Something neither of them could ignore anymore. Kane lowered the camera first. His heart was beating faster than it should. Vincent looked away. Neither spoke. Neither trusted their voice. Unfortunately, someone else had noticed them too. A person standing across the lake. A person holding a camera. A paparazzo. The photographs appeared online the next morning. At first, they spread slowly. Then they exploded. News websites. Fan forums. Social media. Everyone wanted answers. Who was the mysterious man with Vincent? Why were they spending time together? Were they friends? Dating? Something more? The speculation spread like wildfire. By noon, Vincent's agency had already called an emergency meeting. The atmosphere inside the conference room was tense. Several managers sat around the table. Expressions serious. Phones constantly ringing. Vincent sat quietly, already knowing what was coming. One manager finally spoke. "You need to stop seeing him." The words landed like a punch. Vincent remained silent. Another manager continued. "The public is becoming curious. We can't risk rumors. The group's comeback is next month." Every sentence sounded colder than the last. Vincent clenched his hands beneath the table. "He's my friend." The room fell silent. A manager sighed. "You know that's not the issue." Everyone knew it wasn't. Not because of schedules. Not because of managers. Forever. And as panic tightened around his chest, Vincent finally stopped lying to himself. This was never just friendship. Not anymore. Maybe it hadn't been for a long time. And now, with only weeks left before Kane disappeared from his life, Vincent knew one thing. If he did nothing, he would regret it forever. The concert venue was overflowing with people. Thousands of fans filled every seat. Thousands more waved glowing light sticks in the darkness. The air vibrated with excitement. Screams echoed through the stadium. Music thundered from the speakers. Tonight was the final concert of Eclipse's world tour. The biggest performance of the year. And for Vincent, the most important night of his life. Not because of the cameras. Not because of the crowd. Not because of the headlines that would appear tomorrow. But because Kane was leaving in 3 days. 3 days. 72 hours. Then he would be gone. Perhaps for 6 months. Perhaps longer. And Vincent still hadn't told him the truth. Backstage, staff members hurried in every direction. Managers checked schedules. Makeup artists made final adjustments. The members of Eclipse prepared themselves for the show. Yet Vincent could barely focus. His thoughts kept drifting elsewhere. To a certain photographer. To a certain smile. To a certain person who had changed everything. One of his bandmates noticed immediately. "You look nervous." Vincent laughed weakly. "I am." The other man raised an eyebrow. "More nervous than debut day?" Vincent stared at the floor. Then nodded. His friend blinked. "Wow." A short silence followed. Then realization appeared on his face. "Oh." Vincent groaned. "Don't." "It's Kane, isn't it?" Vincent covered his face. His friend burst into laughter. "I knew it." "You knew nothing." "I knew everything." Vincent wanted to argue. But honestly, everyone probably knew by now. Everyone except Kane. The concert began. The stadium exploded with energy. Song after song. Performance after performance. The crowd sang along to every lyric. Every cheer shook the entire venue. Normally, moments like this made Vincent feel alive. Tonight felt different. Because even while standing before thousands of people, he was searching for only one. Kane. Halfway through the concert, Vincent found him. Near the back of the stadium. Far from the VIP section. Far from the cameras. Exactly where Kane would choose to stand. A simple black jacket. A familiar camera hanging around his neck. Watching quietly. Smiling whenever Vincent appeared on screen. For a brief moment, everything else disappeared. The lights. The music. The crowd. There was only Kane. And suddenly, Vincent remembered the photograph from the exhibition. The one Kane had taken. The one about following a light. Back then, Vincent thought he understood its meaning. Now he realized he had been wrong. Because all this time, he hadn't been the only one being followed. Somewhere along the way, Vincent had started following Kane too. The concert ended 2 hours later. Confetti filled the air. Fans cried. The members bowed deeply. The final farewell echoed through the stadium. Then the curtain fell. And Vincent ran. Literally ran. Ignoring the confused staff members. Ignoring his manager shouting behind him. Ignoring everything. He only had one destination. Outside the venue, snow drifted gently from the sky. The crowd slowly dispersed. Thousands of people disappeared into the night. Kane adjusted the strap of his camera and began walking toward the train station. He smiled to himself. The concert had been incredible. Exactly the kind of memory he wanted to take with him overseas. His phone suddenly vibrated. A message. Turn around. Kane frowned. The sender's name made his heart stop. Vincent. Slowly, he turned around. And there he was. Standing several meters away. Breathing heavily. Hair messy. Coat half open. Looking nothing like a perfect idol. And somehow, more beautiful than ever. For a moment, neither spoke. The snow continued falling around them. Soft. Silent. Beautiful. Finally, Kane broke the silence. You ran here, didn't you? Vincent tried to answer. Instead, he nearly lost his breath. Kane laughed. The familiar sound immediately calmed him. A little. Not enough. But a little. You should have worn a scarf. The concern in Kane's voice almost ruined Vincent's courage. Almost. But not quite. Because he was tired of being afraid. Tired of hiding. Tired of pretending. So for the first time, Vincent chose honesty. Complete honesty. Are you leaving? Kane's smile faded slightly. Yeah. When? 3 days. Vincent lowered his gaze. 3 days. It sounded even worse out loud. Kane watched him carefully. Vincent. No. Vincent shook his head. His voice trembled. I need to say this first. For once, the idol who could perform before millions of people looked terrified. Completely terrified. When the photos came out, Vincent swallowed. I told myself staying away from you was the right thing. The snow landed softly on his dark hair. But every day felt worse. He laughed quietly. A sad laugh. I kept reaching for my phone. His eyes met Kane's. I kept wanting to tell you things. Another step forward. I kept looking for you. His voice became softer. More vulnerable. More real. Then I heard you were leaving. Kane's chest tightened. He already knew where this was going. Yet hearing it still felt unreal. Vincent smiled weakly. You know what's funny? What? You were my fan first. Kane laughed despite himself. That's true. But somewhere along the way, Vincent paused. His eyes glistened beneath the stadium lights. I became yours too. The world seemed to stop. No noise. No crowd. No distance. Only them. For years, Vincent had been loved by millions, admired by millions, followed by millions. Yet none of it felt comparable to this moment. To standing before one person and hoping, praying, that he felt the same. I don't need someone who loves Vincent Hart. His voice was barely above a whisper. I need someone who loves Vincent. Silence. A heartbeat. Another. Then another. Kane stared at him. The man he had admired for years. The man he had promised himself never to dream about. The man he had accidentally fallen in love with anyway. A small smile appeared on Kane's face. Warm. Tender. The same smile Vincent had remembered since the cafe. The same smile that had changed everything. And then Kane finally answered. I always did. For a second, Vincent simply stood there, processing the words, making sure he hadn't imagined them. Then he laughed. A genuine laugh. Bright and relieved. The kind Kane had always loved most. Snow continued falling around them. The city lights shimmered in the distance. And for the first time, there was no idol. No fan. No spotlight. No expectations. Only Vincent. Only Kane. Two people who had spent years following different lights. Only to discover they had been leading each other home all along. Vincent reached for Kane's hand. This time, Kane didn't hesitate. Their fingers intertwined naturally, as if they had always belonged that way. Together, they walked into the snowy night, toward an uncertain future, toward new beginnings, toward a story that was only just beginning. Because sometimes, the light we spend our whole lives chasing turns out to be a person. And sometimes, if we're lucky, they're following us too. The end. Thank you for listening.